I'd like to call to order the Liberal City Commission meeting on this Tuesday, April the 28th. May we have roll call, please?
Mayor Denoyer.
Here.
Vice Mayor Aragon.
Here.
Commissioner Harrison.
Here.
Commissioner Carlisle.
Here.
And Commissioner Martinez.
Here via phone.
Okay, we have a quorum, Your Honor.
All right, will you please join me in standing for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the invocation as given by Reverend Ann Holman of Risen Glory Church. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, Lord, we come here tonight to ask your blessings upon the city government. Lord, just bless each one that has a responsibility to serve. Help each one to do his or her very best, to just give it the best effort that we have. And Lord, we continue to ask your hand to be upon Liberal and Seward County. We thank you for the rain. We thank you that we didn't have any destructive weather with it. Lord, we just continue to ask you to guide us forward so that we can reach the potential that you have for this city. And we just pray this in your name, Lord Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Ann.
Thank you.
Our first item on tonight's agenda is awards, proclamations, and presentations. We do have one that is Public Service Recognition Week, and I would like to read that proclamation at this time. In honor of the millions of public employees at the federal, state, county, and city levels, whereas Americans are served every single day by public servants at the federal, state, county, and city levels, these unsung heroes do the work that keeps our nation working. Whereas public employees take not only jobs, but oaths. Whereas many public servants, including military personnel, police officers, firefighters, border patrol officers, embassy employees, healthcare professionals, and others risk their lives each day in service to the people of the United States and around the world. Whereas public servants include teachers, doctors, and scientists, train conductors and astronauts, nurses and safety inspectors, laborers, computer technicians and social workers, and countless other occupations. Day in and day out, they provide the diverse services demanded by the American people of their government with efficiency and integrity. And whereas these public servants at every level, continuity would be impossible in a democracy that regularly changes its leaders and elected officials. Therefore, I, the Mayor of Liberal, do hereby announce and proclaim to all citizens and set seal hereto that May 3rd through the 9th, 2015 is Public Service Recognition Week. All citizens are encouraged to recognize the accomplishments and contributions of government employees at all levels, federal, state, county, and city. Accepting this proclamation will be Sheena Schmutz, HR Director. Would you like to explain how this came about?
Yes. Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. Public Service Recognition Week is May 3rd through the 9th. It began in 1985 as a way to honor the men and women who served our nation at the federal, state, and local government levels. Since that time, the first week of May has officially been designated by Congress as Public Service Recognition Week to show appreciation for our nation's talented and dedicated public servants. We have set aside the first week of May with events for our employees. I've given you a copy of a schedule of those events. If you are able, we hope that you can join us at some of those events to say thank you to our employees, who are the best employees and the hardest working people I know. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sheena. All right, our next item up on the agenda tonight is the approval of the agenda. Ask the Commission to look over the agenda and see if there are any corrections or additions that they would like to make or add.
Your Honor, I make a motion to approve the agenda as presented. Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Harrison with a second by Vice Mayor Aragon. Any discussion on the agenda? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor? All those opposed? Tony, you voting?
Aye.
Okay, thank you, Tony. All right, motion carries 5-0. I couldn't see your hand, sorry. Next item up on the agenda is agenda item number 3, approval of the minutes of the April 14th regular meeting.
Your Honor, I make a motion to approve the minutes of the April 14th, 2015 regular meeting. Second.
A motion once again by Commissioner Harrison with a second by Vice Mayor Aragon. I would ask our city clerk, does this include the old business and new business?
Yes, everything's on there.
In one motion. All right. Is there any discussion on the minutes or the motion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor? All those opposed?
Aye.
All right, motion carries once again 5-0. Next item up on the agenda is agenda item number 4, items from citizens. Are there any citizens in the audience that would like to address the commission on non-agenda items? Seeing none, we'll move on to items from groups, agenda item number 5. Are there any groups in the audience that would like to address the commission on non-agenda items? Again, seeing none, we'll move on to agenda item number 6, the consent agenda. All items listed are considered to be routine by the City Commission and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a commission member or citizen so requests, in which the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. 6A is acknowledgement receipt of minutes from the Liberal Housing Authority Board, Liberal Memorial Library, Liberal Convention and Tourism Board, and Traffic Safety Council. Is there any questions, or does anybody desire to remove anything from the consent agenda to be discussed separately? Seeing none, I'll call for a motion.
Your Honor, I make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second it.
I have a motion by Commissioner Harrison with a second by Commissioner Carlisle. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor?
Martinez, aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Next item on the agenda is agenda item number 7, the final reading of ordinance 4453. This is a lease purchase agreement for fire pumper truck and tandem axle dump truck. I believe, do we have Chief Kirk or Chris?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Commissioners, tonight for your consideration, you have the final reading of ordinance number 4453, which deals with the lease purchase agreement for a fire pumper truck and a tandem axle dump truck. If you'll recall, at the last meeting, we did advance ordinance 4453 from the first reading, and tonight would be the final reading for your consideration. This ordinance would allow the City of Louisville to enter into a 10-year lease purchase agreement with Commerce Bank for the acquisition of a fire department pumper truck and a street department tandem axle dump truck for a total lease purchase amount of $279,271 at a fixed interest rate of 2.29%. In addition to approving the lease purchase agreement, this ordinance would also allow us to establish an escrow account, as we would not need the proceeds for some time. I understand that there's the fire department pumper truck would have a build-out time of a little less than a year, which Chief Kirk will address here shortly, and also the dump truck would require some build-out time also. So the funds would be kept in an escrow account, and we would draw upon them as needed. And so therefore, tonight for your consideration, staff would request approval of the adoption of ordinance number 4453 for a 10-year lease purchase proposal from Commerce Bank for acquisition of a fire department pumper truck and a street department tandem axle dump truck.
Does the commission have any questions for Mr. Ford?
Make a motion we approve.
We have a motion to approve the final reading of ordinance 4453. Do I hear a second?
Second.
A second motion made by Commissioner Carlisle, second made by Commissioner Harrison. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, we'll call for the vote. All those in favor?
Tony?
Tony?
Martinez, aye.
All right. All those opposed, motion carries 5-0. Thank you, Chris. Next item is agenda item number 8, lease purchase equipment. 8A is a tandem axle dump trucks purchase and lease purchase out of the Special Highway Fund. Is that you, Danny? All right, Danny Zuniga, Street Department Supervisor.
Mayor, Commissioners, I'm here to get the approval for to buy 2 dump trucks, the tandems. Any questions?
Commission have any questions for Danny?
Your Honor, I make a motion to approve the purchase of the 2 dump trucks.
Second.
Do we need to add with the
10-year
proceeds
lease purchase.
out of the special highway fund?
Special Highway Fund.
Just clarification, one of these trucks would be acquired through a lease purchase, and the other one would be purchased outright from the
Okay.
special highway fund.
Okay.
That's exactly what my motion is.
Second.
All right. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the agenda item or the motion? Seeing none, call for the vote on agenda item 8A. All those in favor? All those-
Martinez, aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. 8B, apparatus lease purchase structural pumper.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Danny.
Before you leave, Danny, I just wanted to tell you, we appreciate what you, Chewy, and your entire department does. You are called upon not only to maintain the streets and alleys, but you're pulled to the left, to the right, to the north, to the south, to do different projects, and your work does not go unnoticed. You're an exemplary supervisor, and you have a great crew, and I just wanted to publicly thank you for what your entire department does for this entire city. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
8B, Kelly, apparatus lease purchase structural pumper.
Went pretty easy for him.
And have you been working?
It costs more money.
Have you been working on ball fields lately? No, I'm just kidding. How about on the curb cutouts or the golf course? Or no, I'm just kidding.
Danny and his crew are MVPs.
That's right.
Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, I hope I put a self-explanatory memo in your packet regarding the purchase of the pumper. This is actually the next step in a lot of work that started back in September for us, building out the specification, going out for bid on the apparatus, and I included the memo and the bid tab sheet. Once we received all the quotes back, we narrowed it down to 4 fairly quickly, and I guess by no accident, Maxfire and Rosenbauer not only came in as the low bid, they also were the most responsive to our specification. One thing that we're doing different this time than we did back in 2010 when we also purchased a Rosenbauer on a Freightliner chassis is going to pay this out with making basically a down payment out of special fire equipment, which the balance of that back the 1st of April was $225,820. Our plan at budget time last year was to pay $150,000 down so as not to empty that special fire equipment account out and finance the remaining balance over 10 years. And then as we put money back into special fire each year, which in previous years we've been budgeting around $30,000, we estimated around $25,000 would go towards the lease payment. The other $5,000 would go back into special fire to replenish that account so that down the road when it does come time to replace another apparatus, or heaven help us, should we have a big loss of equipment, we have the money in place to replace that equipment and not spike the budget or anything like that. So I think the way it came out with the financing that Finance Director Ford arranged, it looks like we would pay $145,682 down and finance the remaining $165,728. Our payment will actually come in 2 parts. We can take advantage of a prepayment on the chassis and get about a $3,500 savings by paying for the chassis when it arrives at the fire apparatus plant in South Dakota. So we'd actually pay around $90,500 then, prepay the chassis up front. Then once the remainder of the project is complete, they would bill us for the balance at the end. We'll pay what we have left out of special fire and apply the financing money to finish paying it off. And it does have about a 325-day bill date on this apparatus.
Any questions for Chief Kirk?
Where's it being built? Is it in Minnesota?
It'll be in South Dakota.
South Dakota?
Cold both places.
Yep. Your Honor, I'd like to make a motion, we enter a contract with Rosenbauer dealer Max Fire Apparatus for purchase of a Rosenbauer XDFX pumper apparatus at the cost of $311,410 to be paid $145,682 down from special fire equipment and lease purchase finance for the remaining $165,728.
Motion by Vice Mayor Aragon. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Harrison. Any further discussion? Seeing none, a call for the vote. All those in favor?
Martinez, aye.
All those opposed, motion carries 5-0. Thank you, Kelly. All right, next item up on the agenda tonight is agenda item number 9, which is the first reading of ordinance 4454. This would be a loan agreement with the State of Kansas Department of Health and Environment Water Pollution Control Revolving Loan Fund for the engineering and administration costs associated with the city's wastewater treatment construction project. Chris?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Tonight for your consideration is the first reading of ordinance 4454 regarding a loan agreement with the State of Kansas Department of Health and Environment Water Pollution Control Revolving Loan Fund, dealing with the city's wastewater treatment plant. As we know, we've been working on these plans for several years, and the simplest way I like to put this ordinance and the next one, dealing with the loan agreement, in a basic sense of the word, it would establish a line of credit, if you will, for the wastewater treatment plant. This first ordinance would deal specifically with engineering and administrative cost in the amount of $2,985,000, and confirmation with the Department of Health and Environment as things progress and we come forward with options of wastewater treatment plants and so on for commission consideration. Should we have alternate funding sources or come up with a general obligation bond or some other big benefactor or something like that, we are not, even though we would enter into the loan agreement, we would not be under obligation to repay anything if we don't draw upon that revolving loan. Like I said, this first agreement, it would lock in a 2.20% interest rate for the duration of the loan, which is very favorable. And so therefore, for your consideration, staff would request the commission to advance the first reading of ordinance number 4454 to second reading.
Any of the commissioners have questions for Mr. Ford?
We've already done a little engineering and work on this. Are those going to be charged back against that?
Eventually, if we choose to use it.
Okay. That's it.
Any other questions?
Your Honor, I make a motion that we advance ordinance number 4454 for the loan agreement with the State of Kansas Department of Health and Environment Water Pollution Control Revolving Loan Fund for engineering and administrative costs associated with the city's wastewater treatment construction project to the second reading.
Motion by Commissioner Harrison. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Commissioner Carlisle. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor?
Martinez, aye.
All those opposed, motion carries 5-0. Next item on the agenda is first reading of ordinance 4455, a loan agreement with the State of Kansas Department of Health and Environment Water Pollution Control revolving loan fund for the construction costs associated with the city's wastewater treatment construction project. Chris.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Ordinance number 4455 deals specifically with the construction costs associated with the wastewater treatment construction project, and the principal amount of this loan would not exceed $26,643,080. And again, we would only be responsible for repayment of any amounts that we would utilize from this financing. And this one, we did get a little bit better interest rate of 2.11% for the duration of the loan. And just like the last loan agreement dealing with engineering and administrative costs, the construction cost, these loans would, repayment would occur from user fees from utilization of the wastewater system. So therefore, staff would request commission consideration to advance ordinance number 4455 to a second reading.
Are there any questions for Chris? When you mention repayments and life of the loan? Is there a time frame?
Yes, I believe that it's either 25 or 30 years, but we know we can't exceed the life of what the new plan would be.
Okay.
So as things develop, we'll try to schedule the best we can and obtain the best use of financing dollars, leveraging, and what other grants we might be able to leverage and whatnot. But like I said, we cannot exceed the life of what the new plan would be.
Just so I understood correctly, so the funds for the payment would come from the user, right?
Yes, sir.
Any other questions for staff? None? All right, we had a motion, correct?
Your Honor, I'd make a motion to advance ordinance number 4455 to a second reading.
Second.
A motion by Commissioner Harrison with a second by Vice Mayor Aragon. Any further discussion on the advance?
Martinez, aye.
All others in favor? You the man, Tony. All right, motion carries 5-0. All right, next item on the agenda is Resolution 2216, which would be the renaming of National Drive to John Jacobson Drive.
Mayor, Commissioners, you have before you a drive change, which is in remembrance of John Jacobson, which started National Beef here.
In honor.
In honor, not in remembrance.
Yeah, in honor. He's still alive.
That's true. In fact, Commissioner Aragon might have some more information, but I think this is a great thing to do. It is one of those, it's currently named National Drive, but I think it will work well with not only the complex, but also the street with John Jacobson's name. So, if there's any
Any other
questions.
comments?
I'd like to say, talk about economic development, that man started it all, and a lot of the old timers that have been around here for a long time remember him and appreciate what he did for not only us, our families, but the city of Liberal. And I know he had options. He could have picked different places, and he picked Liberal, and I'm glad he did. I'd like to make a motion that we change the name from National Drive to John Jacobson Drive.
Motion by Vice Mayor Aragon. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Harrison. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor?
Martinez, aye.
All those in favor? Motion carries 5-0.
He's quick, ain't he?
Probably got to go to the bathroom or something. I don't know. Next item on the agenda is agenda item number 12, self-help housing lawn care program.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners. As you know, the self-help housing program is a program for very low-income families, and completed 47 houses at this time and are working on another 4. Over the years, some of the families have put yards in, and I know just by nature of being low income that they may not have the resources to do that. So we came up with a program to assist in yard repair to establish lawns, which would provide 2 different kits that could be borrowed to help them put in their own lawns. So any of the families that have the self-help houses, we did do an inventory today, about 23 of them probably that need to do that. Not saying that they may or may not, but it would be available to them if they wanted to.
Mayor, Commissioners, I'd also like to add this is in discussions with USDA and Little Dixie. This is an appreciated effort as far as something else to make this program even nicer, the availability to it. It's not included in the program. It possibly could be, but it is one of those. This would be available to them and the equipment. It would be a checkout. We keep track of it. And we obtained bids from local vendors, and the purchase would be done here locally. So we think it's a win-win for the program and where the self-help houses are. It would beautify that part of the neighborhood even more.
All right, I have a couple questions. First of all, where would the funds come from? From the housing department or from the self-help?
Housing Department.
Okay, the questions that I've received today, people calling me on this, is if it's coming out of the 1 cent sales tax housing department, why is it not available made citywide so someone else could take advantage of it? Why is it limited to just the self-help housing folks? And then also, the fescue requires a lot of water. And I know water bills can get up to $200-300 in the summertime. Is that something that they're going to be able to continue to pay throughout the summer to maintain that lawn? Because putting it in is not the simple part, but it's the easier part. Maintaining and paying for the water and fertilizer to keep it up would be something that even as if you look at my backyard, I struggle with.
I think since the self-help, there's a limited number of people in the program, that this program could morph into a program that would be available to others. I think what we wanted to do is see if we could get a good start with this. But there are a limited number of self-help people, and once they do it, they wouldn't keep using equipment. So then it would be there. And that would be a program that we'd have to establish guidelines for.
Yeah. Well, especially with the fescue. I mean, fescue, if you don't water, it's going to go. If you had a Bermuda or a buffalo, it might be something that would not require as much maintenance, which is more native to this area. Because like I said...
we can look at other grasses. Bill was the one who suggested fescue to me.
Fescue does look nice, I understand that, but...
About grass.
Yeah, fescue looks nice, but it requires a lot of water and to maintain it.
We did with this program and starting first with the self-help housing is, Karen probably can give a rough estimate of the amount of grant money we've received in the process of building. We're well over $1 million or...
Right around, well, it'll be over $1 million on the next grant.
And this is a program that's contributed to building. We're at 47 or...
We're at 51 now.
51. 51 homes built.
47 completed, 4 more in the process.
Yes.
That is, part of the reasoning behind this program is not only that we've received the money from, the federal government, but it is one of those that has contributed to us, and they pay property taxes like everyone else.
And if they tear the equipment up, who pays for that?
And that would be a part of the program cost, that would be maintenance.
We did, we've discussed, and they would be able to work on the equipment at Meade Building Center.
As it stands, I'm not interested in spending tax dollars on just a limited amount of people. I'm not into loaning out equipment, never did loan mine out.
Any other discussion? I would have to, again, reiterate, unless if this was a citywide program that all residents who pay into the 1 cent sales tax could take advantage of, I can't see starting this program for a limited number of people. If it were citywide, I would have no problem with that, because, I mean, with the drought, we all need a lot of help, so.
Everything has to have a beginning. So I'll make a run at this. I'll make a motion to approve the self-help housing lawn care program.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Harrison with a second by Vice Mayor Aragon. All those in favor? All those opposed?
Nay, Martinez.
All right. Thank you, Karen.
Thank you.
Motion fails. Next item on the agenda. Tony, were you a nay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Next item up on the agenda is agenda item number 13, the Police Department. 13A is concealable body armor.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. Each year, the Police Department applies for a Department of Justice bullet-resistant partnership grant. That grant allows us to purchase vests that are expiring, and then once we purchase the vests, then they reimburse us for 50% of that purchase cost. This year, we're requesting to purchase 12 vests that are expiring at a total cost of $8,740, or $40 is for the shipping of those vests. Once we receive the vests and get that receipted, then the Department of Justice will reimburse us for $4,350, half of that purchase price. So in your packet, you have a memo requesting for us to have authorization to purchase 12 vests.
This is our regular rotation, correct? Police Chief Sill?
The vests, the manufacturing specifications on those vests expire after 5 years. So the 12 vests that we're requesting are up for expiration.
All right. Any questions for Police Chief Sill?
Just out of curiosity, what do we do with the old vests?
I knew you'd ask that. I knew somebody would ask that. Every year we get asked that question. Once the vests expire, doesn't mean they don't have any use, so we donate those to an organization called Armor for God, and they donate those to other agencies that don't have the budgeted funds to purchase vests on a 5-year rotation. So even though they are expired by the manufacturer, it's not that they're unusable. Well, we don't want to use them, but so we donate those to less unfortunate people.
Any further questions? Not a call for the motion on the 13A concealable body armor.
Make a motion, we approve.
I have a motion by Commissioner Carlisle and a second by Commissioner Harrison. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye. 14.
Motion carries 5-0. 13B, ammunition purchase.
In your packet, you have a request to purchase 40 cases of ammunition. 37 of those cases are practice ammunition, and 3 of those cases will be used for actual duty rounds. And the actual purchase price of that is $8,340 from Simmons Guns out of Hill, Kansas. They are the state contract vendor, one of them.
Any questions for Police Chief Sill on the ammunition purchase request?
What happens to the duty rounds?
Hopefully nothing. The duty rounds are the ones that the officers carry on duty. They're a hollow point round, where the practice rounds are just ball ammunition.
Correct,
And
but you're replacing them.
Yeah, every 2 years we replace the duty rounds and turn those into practice rounds.
Okay, that was my question.
Okay.
There you go. Thank you.
All right, any further question on the ammunition purchase request?
I move that we purchase the ammo, as long as you don't shoot me.
Second.
You're seconding with that addition? I would want to remove that one if it was me making the second. No. All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Carlisle, with a second by Vice Mayor Aragon. Any further discussion? All those in favor? All right, motion carries 5-0. Next item is 13C, even though it says 2 Bs, 13C, duty handgun purchase.
In that proposal, we would like to replace our current duty handguns with new Generation 4 handguns. They're currently Generation 3 handguns. We purchased them back in 2003. I don't have any information or idea how many rounds we put through them, but the Generation 4 handguns have been out on the market for several years, and as each year passes, the Generation 3s become less and less valuable. So we have managed to negotiate a deal with GP Distributors to buy back our used handguns along with some seized weapons that we've taken off the streets, for the agreement of purchasing 50 new Generation 4 Glock handguns at a purchase price of $20,450. With the buyback and the trade-in, we'll be able to receive enough money to not spend any money on the purchase, but we'll actually get $145 credit from the company, which will cover the freight on that shipment. So this negotiated deal will be at no cost to the city for the purchase of 50 new handguns.
Your Honor, I'd make a motion that we make that deal.
Second.
Get him for
I want to
free.
ask a question. What's the difference between a 40 caliber and a 9mm?
You want an explanation or a demonstration?
Well,
Ballistically, they're negligible. Obviously, there's a different size and diameter, and one of the things that we looked at, we currently are carrying the 40 caliber. We carried that for a lot of years. We looked at the ballistics between the 9mm and the 40 caliber, and it's really negligible. They come out of the muzzle pretty much the same feet per second. They have the basically same potential energy, terminal velocity, and all that.
I guess what my question is, we're buying 9mm rounds.
Yes.
How come we're not buying 40 caliber rounds?
The reason why we decided to do that, if you were to shoot a 40 caliber Generation 3 Glock handgun, it has a very hard kick to it. The 9mm is a little bit less kick. It's a smaller round, so it's not as much energy pushing it out. So it doesn't have as much recoil. And by and large, we have a number of people on the force that aren't lifelong gun enthusiasts. And so we just elected to go with a round that had a less recoil, therefore, in hopes of improving accuracy.
Thank you.
Any further questions on the motion?
I got a comment, Joe.
Go ahead.
Mr. Mayor. I remember when we was on the reserves, we had 357 weapons, and we carried 38 rounds just for the same reason. Just to make a comment there.
Thank you, Commissioner Martinez. Any further discussion?
I'd just like to point out, it sounds to me like our chief is pretty well educated on what he's talking about.
Well, ask me a question about
All right, to all those in favor?
Tony?
All those in favor, Tony?
Martinez, aye.
Who seconded that motion?
That was Vice Mayor Aragon. All right, thank you, Chief Sill. Next item up on the agenda is the multifamily housing program request.
Mayor, Commissioners, we received a request from Mr. Chance regarding our multifamily housing. It is one of those, Commissioner allowed that to be placed on the agenda, and I think Mr. Chance is here to address the commission.
All right, Mr. Chance, please come forward, state your name and address in an audible tone for the record, and then proceed.
Marvin Chance, Jr., 1517 Tulane Court, Louisville, Kansas, of course. We talked about the needs for multi-family housing and something besides low-income housing a year ago. And originally, we had kind of looked to the line of having a $5,000 per unit incentive. We looked at building 64 units at that time and ended up with costs, budgets, and basically the cost of building in Liberal being so prohibitive, which is one of the biggest reasons why we don't have more housing or enough housing. We looked and finally settled on 48 units and went with the 3,000 that the City Commission approved. Of course, all those, as you can see by now, are underway, and at this point on time, expect to be ready in July as far as the first building. In discussing with the builder, of course, costs in the future tend to go up, not down. He came up about a month ago to say, hey, if you're going to do the fourth building, you'd probably be a little bit smarter than doing that. Of course, That means spending another $1,250,000 and no help from the state. And as we did know, part of that cost savings was $350,000 from the state that was divided among those three buildings. So in talking, it was like, well, the city commission could go back and look at saying, hey, you know, there weren't any other units started. We budgeted $300,000. We can change that incentive to $5,000 and reduce it to $60,000, the same expenditure. And that would allow us to have the extra $100,000, about $120,000 actually, that would offset what the state did do, keep the cost of the fourth building about the same. And two of the partners talked the other partner into saying we could let the fourth building if the city wanted to entertain that request. So that was some of the information about it. I'm here to answer any questions you might have.
I've got a question. The original application to the state for the RHID, was that for 48 units?
Originally it was 48 and amended to, or 60, actually it was 64 amended to 48.
So it started
It'll
out
have
as
to be
60,
re-amended, yeah.
but it was submitted to the state as 64 with the $3,000.
Yeah.
On your application for the grant that the city helped you with, was that for 48 units or 64 units?
There was
For the
no application.
$350,000?
There was no application.
The state just showed up and gave you $350,000?
Oh, you mean for the...
For the MIH?
The state of Kansas grant? No, that was for 64.
Now, did the city of Liberal help you obtain that?
I think the city of Liberal supported us for that, yes.
And you have received, or you will receive $3,000 per unit?
Correct.
Okay.
Any other questions for Mr. Chance?
I move that we change the new construction multifamily housing incentive program to amend to $5,000 per unit instead of the present $3,000.
We have a motion. Is there a second? Hearing none, motion dies for lack of a second.
Thank you.
Next item up on the agenda is approval of additional funding for Wildcat Court.
Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, sent you some information on this. Back in September, as we were beginning construction on what is now Wildcat Court, at that point in time it was Reefer Road, we asked for $125,000 for the construction of this road in addition to the funds that we got from the sale of lots, which was $100,000. We netted back $10,000 as per our agreement with Wilson to pay for hookups to sewer and water. Construction costs came in considerably higher than our engineering estimates. The bills have now been tallied up, and what we're asking for is $110,000 to close out this project, which will come from the economic development portion of the 1 cent sales tax.
Just so there's no confusion, Jeff, you kind of notified us of this quite some time back.
Yeah, back in the fall.
In fact, I think you had our blessing, so to speak. So.
Yes, we had a meeting of the minds.
Yes.
Over the engineer estimate being so far off.
Any questions for Mr. Parsons?
Your Honor, I make a motion that we approve the additional funding to close out the Wildcat Court project for $110,000 from the 1 cent sales tax economic development.
A motion by Vice Mayor Aragon. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Harrison. Any further discussion? All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, Jeff. Agenda item number 16, which would be the 2015-2015 KDOT Transit Grant. 2015-2016 is what we need to look at that. 2015 to 2016 KDOT Transit Grant. Melanie?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners. I'm pleased to announce that the grant that we apply for every year for transit has been approved. This year, we have been awarded with $291,523. This will continue and allow us to operate as we do now and expand for one more route. We've also, this past year, expanded with one additional paravan, which has significantly raised our paratransit ridership. We would have to provide up to $124,930 in matching funds, which would come from the portion of 1 cent sales tax that thus comes out of the economic development. And we are very close to starting our orange route. I've had a map for you. It's got a couple of errors on it. I will email this out to you tomorrow if I can get email addresses. Really proud of it. Excited to get that started. I just ask for your blessing on accepting the funds to expand and operate our city bus services.
A question.
Go ahead.
Is the activity on the bus still pretty active, picking up? And I mean, I see them all over, and I always look, and I see people in them, so that's good. They're being used.
At ridership today, and I went back to 2013 to 2014, which is fiscal year 2014. And at this point, where we were last year, we're outpacing the fixed services by about 1,000 and the paratransit by about 500. We've really picked up on that. I just attribute that to the good service that our drivers do. I couldn't do it without them. So.
I agree with you.
Yeah, I hear a lot of good things. That's really good. I remember when we just talked about having the city bus, so.
I've got a great crew.
I must say that we have learned over the years how many people in Liberal do not have reliable transportation. And we see that growing. In fact, I'll say this because they won't say it, but KDOT is pushing them far greater than any other city to grow faster and faster. And it is one of those, through your leadership and Jeff, they are making sure that they are consistent in the growth and the service to the community. But it is amazing to listen to the conversations with KDOT that we want you bigger, faster. So it's a compliment to the program.
With the addition of the orange route in another month, a little over a month, how are you holding out on drivers? I know that's been an issue, finding drivers. You got plenty of applicants. You can always use more.
We are just about there.
Okay.
I love getting the applications in, and it's just an asset talking to them.
Any thoughts in the future of maybe doing a part-time weekend route?
Right now, what KDOT is projecting statewide, what they really are hoping to accomplish is regionalization. And my coordinated transit district, we meet about once every 3 months, and now we're going to meet by telephone conference to save costs. But they are looking at just providing service for towns such as Liberal, Garden, Dodge, over in our district, and some of the smaller towns, getting a route going just so that these people can go up to their medical centers, any other needs that they have, that we help to meet that. So that's what the big push is right now.
Okay. I think they've started that in Dodge City's route. I think they kind of pick up Jetmore and some of those Kinsley and to kind of provide service over there. So, all right. Any further questions for Melanie? Seeing none, I'll call for the motion.
Gunnar, I'll make a motion, we accept the grant and provide the matching $124,938 from the 1 cent sales tax, and accept the funds to operate and expand the city bus system.
Motion by Vice Mayor Aragon. Do we hear a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Commissioner Carlisle. Any further discussion on the motion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor?
Martinez, aye.
All those opposed, motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Next item is agenda item number 17, which will be the sale of property in North Liberal. Mr. Parsons.
Mr. Mayor and Commissioners, we have been approached by a landholding company by the name of H&O LLC to purchase approximately, it's just shy of 1 acre on North Kansas Avenue. H&O is buying the adjacent approximately 3 acres. That land, in connection with the city land, will be used to develop a small retail project, which more information will be coming forward to you. What we're asking for tonight is just the approval to enter into a contract with H&O for the sale of this land. One provision of that sales contract will be what's commonly called a clawback. If H&O does not develop this property within 2 years, then the city has the right to buy that property back for its original sale price. And that way we ensure that the property is not being bought just for speculation, and it's actually being bought to develop and give them a reasonable amount of time to make their plans and to do their work. We have looked at this property before, and the commission has actually approved the sale of this to another project which didn't manage to follow through, and we're very hopeful that this one will have a much better result, but we need your approval to enter into this contract.
Any questions for Mr. Parsons? Seeing none, we'll call for a motion.
Your Honor, I make a motion that we approve and execute the proposed real estate purchase contract.
Motion by Commissioner Harrison. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Vice Mayor Aragon. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor?
Martinez, aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Next item up on the agenda is 18, City Manager's Report. Mr. Hall.
Mayor, Commissioners, reminder, Thursday, we'll have the Council of Governments at Seward County Community College at 7 o'clock. All the commissioners are invited, and I believe to our new commissioners, if you're able to attend, this would be the first one since becoming commissioner. So that is available to everyone. Other than that, it's been a busy night. Would like to thank all the departments. I know you're aware of what all they're doing. We are getting ready to get into our busy season. Departments are making plans for that. Our fields are coming along. We had a little rain. It's appreciated. We are doing certain things. The concession stands that started, they did have to delay those somewhat because of the rain, but things are going in. Our scoreboards arrived today. We've got bleachers that are supposed to arrive in the next week or two. So everything's going forward, but hopefully Mother Nature cooperates and we get people moving as soon as possible. So I'd like to thank all the departments for what they do. I know you know that streets and parks and even to municipal court, they all play a part. We couldn't do without any of them. So thank you for the departments for what you do. We do appreciate it. So if there's any questions, I'd like to answer those.
Commissioner, any questions for the City Manager? Any questions at all? Any word on the park equipment for not only Harrison Circle but Mary Frame?
They are on order. I just
that's all we've got.
I'll give you a call and find out when we expect those to be in.
I was in Mary Frame Park for tree planting and noticed that all of that playground equipment there is in pretty sad shape. And that park being right next to Highway 54, we need to, just like Light Park, make it shine as well. So I would encourage to look maybe at replacing all of it. I know it's expensive, but if we can get a grant to maybe help with that from one of our local foundations, that would be a destination stop for those traveling on Highway 54. But just a thought.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, that is in a plan to upgrade Mary Franklin.
Okay. It's in pretty bad shape.
Back, Commissioners, after we get this project, among others, that is ours. And in fact, the commission, if I remember right, it's, I think, $156,300
For Mary
if I
Franklin.
remember, that has already been set aside for those improvements.
Okay.
So it's already been approved and on our list. We've just had some things come up in between, which you all are aware of, but that is to get done.
All right, thank you. Any further questions for the city manager? Seeing none, we'll move on to the next agenda item, which would be items from commissioners. Commissioner Martinez, would you like to start us?
Yes, I thank you guys, all the commission, mayor, vice mayor, for bearing with me. Had plans to be in San Antonio, Texas tonight, but I got changed. I'm on baby watch, so for my first grandchild. Still waiting. Thank you.
All right, is that all, Commissioner? Right, Commissioner Carlisle.
I want to thank all the city employees for the hard work they're doing. We appreciate it. Especially you, Danny.
That it?
That's it.
All right, Commissioner Harrison.
Congratulations to soon-to-be Grandpa Martinez. And I would just ask for everybody to have a little patience here. We're kind of having quite a few projects thrown at us right now, and a lot of things going on. And staff is working very hard to accomplish a lot of things that they didn't know they were going to have to accomplish. Really want to ask for people's patience on the potholes. The guys are doing the best they can. It's hard to get hot mix here. Carlisle's are going to have their plant up and running sometime in the next 30 to 60 days, I guess, which will mean we'll get some permanent replacements to our potholes. In the meantime, just bear with us for a little bit. Guys are doing the best they can, and keep calling. If you've got a bad pothole, let us know. We'll make sure the guys get out there and take care of them. They don't want you having potholes any worse than you do. So really appreciate their work and appreciate everybody's patience. Other than that, I appreciate everything that staff does. I asked for a lot of information over the last couple of days and got it, and took a lot of extra work on people's parts to get it to me, but I do appreciate it. It helped me make my determination on a lot of things tonight. Thank you.
Vice Mayor Aragon.
Also, congratulations to Grandpa Martinez. And thank all the city staff. You know, everything's changing almost every day. You drive around and you see all the stuff. Danny's got a heck of a crew, and they're doing a really, really good job. It's great. I can't wait. I keep thinking here in a couple of months what it's going to look like to come over that bridge and see the fields when they're done and all lit up, and here pretty soon when the water park's up and going and all the kids out there having a good time in the parks and everything. So just thank all the staff. I know you all are really busy. Do good. So that's it.
All right, thank you, Vice Mayor Aragon. I too would like to echo some of the comments made. Congratulations to Commissioner Martinez. If he's going to do the grandpa thing, he's probably going to have a lot of sleepless nights, but that's okay. That's okay. Kids are worth it. My fellow commissioners, thank you for the work, the time that you've put in, researching, talking, asking the questions. It's going to be an exciting time for this commission over the next 2 years, as we've seen things come to us over the last couple of weeks and couple of months, and things are just going to continue to move forward. Want to thank city staff again. Anytime you come up with a new idea, bring it to the commission. It may pass or it may not, but we do appreciate the thought process that goes into coming up with new ideas and new ways of looking at things. I just want to continue to reiterate, we've got an exemplary street department that go above and beyond the call of duty. Parks Department also, several years ago in the 90s when I was on the Kids Inc. board, one of my sports to be in charge of was soccer. And there was one man that I knew if I needed a coach, he was my go-to guy. Not only would he step up to coach long after he said he was done, but if I couldn't find, he would find people for me. And it's great to have Danny Zuniga on our team here with the city because he is that go-to guy. And he surrounds himself with quality employees and has done a tremendous job to continue to make his city, which is our city, a better place to live. You guys are tremendous. I mean, we've got a great staff. The police department, in what's going on in this world, in this country, this day, when we get letters, confidential letters in our packet showing how our police department have handled themselves in tough situations, again, it comes from the top down. You guys do a tremendous job. Fire department, again, we saw Captain McClurg awarded with VFW award, and then, of course, Officer Torres with the fire department receiving VFW's local and district firefighter of the year award as well. We've got a great staff. We've got a great commission. Things are moving forward, and it's going to be an exciting time. So to the Jacobson family, I think it's long overdue to have something named after John Jacobson. Worked for him back in 1982 through 88, and not 88 because he had left, but was a great man to work for. Treated every employee like family, and I think that tradition is now back at National Beef. So congratulations to the Jacobson family. With that is all that I have. Invite folks to come out Cinco de Mayo this weekend, 11 to 7 at the Activity Center on Saturday. And I believe the Kansas Children's Service League is having a fundraiser Saturday night for their Head Start program. And then also there's a benefit at the VFW for the Foreman family as 7-year-old Levi is battling cancer. So there's a car show next weekend. I mean, get out, enjoy Liberal. There's a lot to do and see. Other than that, that's all I have. So we'll move on to agenda item number 20, approval of the vouchers.
Your Honor, I make a motion that we approve the vouchers in the amount of $1,432,092.62.
Second.
A motion by Commissioner Harrison with a second by Vice Mayor Aragon. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Next, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.